I just want you to remember that this is a long-term investment, right? Like this is something that I just also realized being off for 9 months. It's a long-term investment. So each video then becomes something that it means a little bit more. It hits a little different when you're thinking about it like, hey, I'm making this video today because it's going to be a long-term investment for years to come. And when I stepped away, I was able to see that. And I just want you to think about that now. So you don't have to take a break and you don't have to step away to figure out some of these answers. Start a YouTube channel, set up a newsletter, create a course, get on social media and post every day. Oh my gosh, like all the things that we are told to do as new entrepreneurs as soon as you say, I want to start a business or I'm thinking about starting a business. But if you don't really know what the goal is for all of them, it's just overwhelming, right? And I totally understand. Last year, I quit my YouTube channel and I did it on purpose because, I just wanted to take a break. I wanted to do kind of a little bit of a reevaluation, a true reset, which I created a video on about that here. If you don't know why you're doing things and then you're all in the weeds of like, should I create a newsletter and how should I create a newsletter and what type of post should I create? Should I create a carousel? Should I do a still post? Should I do a reel? Like there's so many things. It's overwhelming for most new creators especially, but even old timers. Like you have to figure out where exactly do you fit into the mix and like what is necessary for your purpose, right? Of why you're creating whatever you're creating and why you need it for your business. So in today's video, I want to talk to you a little bit about some like unconventional truths, and I'm going to give you a little bit of advice too that I've learned. These are like lessons learned I want to share for anyone who's even thinking about starting a business or considering bringing their business online, and kind of how I think you should approach it. That will help you so that you can avoid the burnout and avoid feeling overwhelmed and knowing exactly what to do with your time, right? That's really what it comes down to. It comes down to your time. Like, how do you want to spend your time? Is that time going to be spent efficiently? Because none of us have like a plethora of time where we can just do whatever we want with it. So really it is important to know what it is you want to do with your time and how you want to spend it, and if it's going to actually be a good bang for your buck. So let's talk about that in this video. If you're new to my channel, my name is Ashlee Tate and I'm a business consultant and nonprofit founder who enjoys talking about profit, purpose, and productivity, all of the things to help you live a happier, healthier, more successful life so you can design a life and business on your own terms. So after a few years of doing YouTube and deciding to press pause on all of that pretty much indefinitely, it was just everything. And it was coming back after our little hiccup in 2020. I felt like, I'm looking at the time I'm spending and I'm looking to see how much time I'm spending on YouTube specifically, writing scripts, recording, doing all the things. And I thought, something has to give. Like there's got to be a little bit more to this than just creating these YouTube videos. I did that, figured it all out, created a course on it while I've been gone called the Fierce Visionary Course so that I can help other people figure out that, it's not just about creating YouTube and that you can find a fulfilling way to actually make this work for you with a systematic approach that's going to help you so that you don't have to, be out there spinning your wheels like I did for a while. Okay. So you'll see me looking down because I'm looking down at my notes. I want to make sure I don't forget anything while I talk to you guys about this video. So anyway, literally one of the best decisions I have made, because what it made me realize is that I was doing 80% of work that probably wasn't actually necessary, whether it could be hired out or it wasn't truly necessary to the workflow. If I was making things more difficult by trying to make them perfect and, make sure everything the way I thought it was supposed to be, when I was going to deliver it. I've had so many epiphanies, you guys. Oh my gosh. Let's jump into this first one. The first one is to really look at the 80-20 rule. Because one of the first things I realized when I did decide to stop YouTube was 20% of the work that I did, and really and truly 20%, because it's probably about like 5 videos out of, 100 that I have, really do make the most money for my channel. They attract the most customers, and they are also the ones that, because they attract the most customers, keeps the pipeline of selling my courses, like the Unleash Your Purpose course that starts your nonprofit in 30 days. It sells that one for me without me doing anything. So while I was gone, my income never really changed because that video is consistently working in the background and being served up to people who want to know how to start a nonprofit, that is selling my course. So that is how the income just kept coming in, even though I wasn't doing anything. And I honestly never knew how stopping YouTube was actually going to hurt or hinder my business. This is why I say that pivots are really good, because pivots will show you a lot about whatever it is that you're pivoting from and pivoting to. So in the end, I didn't actually end up having to make the pivot to move over to another channel. I just made a pivot in my mind that I'm not going to stress about views anymore. I'm not going to stress about, the thumbnail if it's perfect. I'm going to go super simple and I'm going to do what works best for my life. And in my life, since I run a nonprofit, I run an online business, I have 2 children, I'm married, I have a lot of other things going on. For my life, I decided that I'm just going to keep things very simple and pull the levers that work best for me. So whether that's hiring someone or letting something be minimal, imperfect, then that's what I'm gonna do. And I was happiest when I was creating videos and I was just creating and putting the information out there and I knew people were getting good value. That made me happy. That's where I want to stay. And so it was something that I needed to kind of have a little mindset shift about. And I want you to approach this the same way. It's like, if you have information to share, just focus on sharing that information. Don't get so stuck on creating the perfect thumbnail or creating the, basically optimizing everything. Once you have in place all of the pieces of your ecosystem, which I'm talking about in number 1 with the 80-20 rule, once you have those different pieces in place for your ecosystem, then you'll see how you can optimize and where you really should be optimizing rather than trying to make everything up level. You're looking at your business from a perspective of kind of research and development, right? You're looking at it, seeing what's working, what's not working, and then you're developing and reiterating. And the biggest thing about creating your big business ecosystem, which is this first tip, is really understanding that your business is an evolution, right? It's an evolution of you. It's an evolution of your processes. It's an evolution of how you deliver. It's an evolution of how you work with clients. It's just purely, it's an evolution, and you just have to be there to let it evolve. And your job is to kind of be the guiding force and the consistent piece. And when I say consistent piece, I don't mean literally be showing up consistently. I mean, be the consistent piece as far as the consistent personality, the consistent brand that people can get used to and come to expect and know, right? So it's more about people understanding who you are, your philosophy, and them liking that or coming to trust you and your information and how you will deliver that information, as opposed to you actually having some perfect thumbnail or something. And that is the first place that people see you. So it is important, but I'm just saying you don't need to spend a ton of time. I was spending a ton of time, too much time on my thumbnail and it was ridiculous. So anyway, we're gonna let that one go. Step number 1 is to realize the 80-20 Pareto principle, right? That doing 20% of the work is really what's going to offer 80% of the reward. I've made hundreds of videos and maybe most people have never even seen some of those videos, but the videos that they did see resonated. That's what the income for my business, the bulk of my business, really comes from. Now that's a constant generator when I'm sleeping, when I'm on vacation, when I'm doing whatever, people are still buying the course because they saw those videos. After being gone for a year, it blows my mind that the business is still growing even though I'm not doing anything. Thank you for all of you who have subscribed to me in the past 9 months, because it was unbelievable that I went from 19,000, which I thought I was never gonna get to 20. I went from 19,000 to I think I'm at 21 or 22 now. It's amazing. And I hate to even look at vanity metrics like that, but the fact that I wasn't on there was incredible to me. So realize that, and I have more to say about this YouTube stuff in just a minute. So let me move on from this and close the subject out. You guys know I can be winded, so here we go. So number 2 is to talk about what you want to talk about. Even if you don't know what you want to talk about yet, talk about what you want to talk about and try to keep your customer in mind, of course, about what it is that they would want to know relating to what you're talking about. So if I want to talk about health or I want to talk about why I love drinking matcha, I'm going to relate it back to, because as an entrepreneur, it keeps your mind leveled and it doesn't give you that big kick. But at the moment I'm drinking coffee, but I love my matcha and you guys will probably see matcha on this channel at some point. But the point is that if I'm talking about coffee even, like I would give you some statistics as to why coffee would be a great option for you to drink as an entrepreneur. Because I'm still reframing it as, why is this important to you? But I'm talking about something that I love and that I want to share with you. And I want you to do the same. Don't feel like you have to get on here and talk about one specific thing. And that's where I went wrong. I was trying to talk about one specific thing, and I thought that YouTube had kind of pigeonholed me. But really what I had done is they knew most of the information because I had already exhausted all of the questions that I would have had when I was starting my nonprofit. So now I needed to just move on. And that's what we're doing with this new channel. So I hope you enjoy it. Number 3 is to know your limitations, okay? Whether it's children or having a busy life or whatever, understand that you are not like anybody else. No one else has your situation, okay? So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that you need to record, 8 hours a day, because your situation is not the same as my situation. When we look at people and we hope to be in their space and to be like them, sometimes we're comparing apples to oranges. Like our situation is nothing like that person's situation. And that was something I also kind of had to learn. I used to really look at some of these bigger YouTubers, and what I realized is we're not the same at all. Like I have 2 kids, I run a nonprofit, like I do a lot of other things. We have a super busy life with sports, and so I don't have weekends. Like I would hear some people say like, oh, I record on Saturdays. I don't have Saturdays to record, so it's not gonna work out for me. And so it's just important to kind of realize your limitations when you're thinking about where you want to be. And another good quote that I heard is also like, don't compare your year 1 to somebody else's year 10. And it's so important to keep that in mind, because a lot of us have been at this for a very long time. It can seem like you're so far away when you're just starting, but understand that that's actually like the most fun part of starting any business. It is the beginning. It's the scrappiness. It's the excitement of like, I'm gonna try this, I'm gonna do this. Something that I think is very helpful is to learn how to practice that failure. Practice and just throw things at the wall to see if it's gonna work or not. Because when you actually step out and try something new, that is when you'll find out what works and what really doesn't work. Tip number 4 is all about searchability. Now, I love searchability, and I think that this is like something that will just blow your mind. The one thing I did find out with being off of YouTube that was like mind-blowing to me is that YouTube isn't doing anything directly to your videos. All YouTube is doing is trying to match videos with people who are searching for something specific. They want to give them that, and then they want them to stay on it and watch it longer. So that really comes into how you decide to set up your videos. It'll depend a little bit on your thumbnail, whether people want to click on it or not. If one video doesn't do well, it doesn't mean that all of your other videos won't do well. It means that every video is built on its own. It is surveyed kind of on its own. All YouTube does is serve it up based on what was searched. The better you can match your titles to what people are searching. For instance, how to start a nonprofit video do the best on my channel, it's because it is designed for search. When someone comes here and they write how to start a nonprofit, well, then your video is likely to show up. And now it's an old video, so it may not show up and be clicked on as much, but it still shows up because it was directly correlated to the exact search. So if you can try to think about yourself as a customer, as your customer, and think about like, where was I when I was wondering about X or whatever the video is that you're gonna create. Try to create your video title according to that. And then of course, there are lots of ways that you can discover searchability. You can use Google, you can use TubeBuddy, and vidIQ is great. Now, YouTube Studio also has a research tool that you can use right inside of the app when you become a YouTube creator, so that you can actually use that for your research, and it'll show you like content gaps and everything. I hope to maybe make a video about that for you guys so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. But everything is based on searchability. If you can understand that, you will win online. Period. Searchability, get that part down. All right, so number 5, enjoy the process. It's helpful to make videos, regularly, yes. Like I'm always gonna tell you guys to make videos on a regular basis, weekly, whatever. Like try to do that. Batch them if you need to, whatever you need to do. But on the flip side, it's not critical. Like it's not gonna hurt your last video because you didn't make a video this week. Some people make videos like once a month, whatever. But make the video and enjoy the process of creation, right? Like that's what I think is the most amazing part of the time we live in. Like we are able to create anything we want to create and share it with the world. Think about the process and just really try to enjoy the process. The key here is really to practice, right? Like practice getting comfortable in front of the camera. Your first few videos, your first 50 videos, you might feel really uncomfortable in front of the camera. Before I start any video, I gotta like pump myself up. I love a camera, but I still have to pump myself up to be able to sit here and bring the energy and bring the vibe that I would be if we were in person, right? Enjoy that process and remember that every time you sit down to do it, it's just practice. And every time you do it, you're gonna get better. So just enjoy the process, okay? All right, it's all about creating balance. So remember that, yes, we love our businesses and we love creating and we love, being on YouTube or wherever we're gonna be to share our message. We love that. But the most important thing about all of this is really your balance and creating that balance in your life and your business. And one of the things I realized when I was doing YouTube before is I was trying so hard to keep the business side on YouTube and then the life side separate. Like they are combined. You are not your business. There's so much more to who you are than just your business. Combine those. Let people see what makes you unique and what makes you different and what things that you're interested in. Like anyone who knows me knows I'm interested in signs and I love talking about them and I love to know what people's signs are and all of these things. And if you want to make me really happy, leave your sign down below. I love that stuff. I love it. And just for the record, I'm an Aquarius. The point is you should be so excited to share your information, but it's hard to share your information if you're not approaching it from a holistic standpoint. So in that holistic standpoint means different aspects of your journey make up how you share your information, which means nothing can ever be saturated because no one's ever going to say it the way you're going to say it. No one's ever going to teach it the way you're going to teach it, demonstrate it the way you're going to demonstrate it, or have the same journey that you have. Just keep in mind that it's still really important to take a holistic approach and bring everything into your work. Understand your customer. So the thing that's going to help you more than anything else is to understand your customer. So when you're talking about the things you talk about and you're doing the holistic approach and all these things, make sure that you're also thinking about where is my customer? What level of awareness are they coming to me with? Are you already super aware of YouTube and you're worried about YouTube? Like I'm talking to people who really are interested in how maybe YouTube is going to help them or what they should be doing with their business on YouTube. All of those things, right? I'm talking to entrepreneurs that might want to use YouTube as their platform to share their message. And I'm just giving some quick advice so that this might be advice that you won't hear anywhere else because again, it's my experience. So when you're doing that, I want you to try to create information that's 70% what you want to create, 30% what your customer needs. And the reason I say 70% is because this should be an exciting journey. This should be something that you're sharing information about through the lens of your customer. And once you understand your customer, it gets so much easier to understand the videos that you're making and why you're making those videos and how those videos should be crafted and all of those things. But you have got to practice doing that over time. And so don't be hard on yourself in the first few videos. In the first few videos, just turn it on and record and do the best you can and keep moving forward and keep recording and keep getting better, right? And focus on that searchability. Use social media to test your ideas. Social media is so much fun. I love social media, but a lot of people get stuck on trying to create every day for social media. Posting is not really marketing. So I want you to keep that in mind. Marketing is not just because you posted on social media. That doesn't mean you marketed anything. It means that the people who are on your social media channel saw it, and that's great, but not everybody saw it. Maybe 10% of people saw that. The reason you get more bang for your buck when you do something like YouTube or you write on a blog or something like that is because years from now, that stuff is still recycled, and it can be, especially on YouTube, it's recycled, but it's also something that years from now can be searched and found. And so social media is just there to optimize the information that you're already posting here or on your blog. If you're using social media correctly and you want to use it all the time, then throw out your big ideas and see how it resonates with people. And then that in turn creates somewhat of a flywheel, because what that allows you to do is see, okay, this worked that I posted on social media starting there, this big idea. I'm gonna now go make a video about that big idea, and then I'm gonna get comments and I'm gonna test my responses on social media, and then I'm gonna go make another video. And you can see how it just starts to create this content cycle for you so that you never run out of content. It is all about the rule of one. So the rule of one has to do with one message one customer and one call to action. And what that means is when you are creating your message and when you're kind of coming onto YouTube or any space really, whether it's social media, YouTube, blog, wherever it is, when you're coming on to these spaces, think about your one customer, okay? Really, you could probably just use yourself because you've been in that position for what you're teaching. You're gonna be teaching your old self essentially. And think about one big idea that you have. Like, what is your one big idea that you wanna get across to people? You may know already that mine is learning how to practice, right? Practice a business, practice living your best life, practice building your perfect business, whatever it is, but doing things messy and just getting started and moving forward. If I've coached you at all ever, or you've heard any of my other teachings, you know that that's something I'm very, very serious about, just starting. All of my videos across the board, my main message is for you to just start, get rid of that fear and do it. Just do it, whatever it is, okay? So rule of one, and the last thing with the rule of one is your call to action. So oftentimes you'll hear people saying, okay, follow me here, follow me over there, go look at my Instagram, check out my website. Like, I don't want you to do that. When you're doing your rule of one for every video, for every piece of deep platforming, anything you're doing, you wanna have one place that you want them to go, which is why they only really give you one option, which is to sign up for your newsletter, because that's something you control. You want to get people onto a place that if ever any of the other places that you can actually put them onto the newsletter. So that brings me to number 10. It's all about deplatforming. And deplatforming means to basically take them off of whatever platform they found you on and put them onto a newsletter. What that newsletter does is it allows you to, again, have some control over when people are going to see your content. If that content is ever delivered to them at all, it will be delivered by you directly into their inbox. So oftentimes when I create a newsletter, I will have a video that I've just created in there, and I will talk directly to my newsletter recipients so that they understand like why I'm sending them this video and what this video is going to help them do, right? So it's more of like a relational situation, like a relationship building aspect of your business. So deplatforming, wherever they have found you, always make sure that you have a way or you're directing them to a place that will tell them how to connect with you off of the platform. That's why deplatforming is so important. So deplatforming comes in with your call to action. That call to action will tell people where to go and how to get there. Those were my top 10 tips. And honestly, you know, I think YouTube is like the OG. I mean, it's been around forever. I think it's the only place that you can really get the full breadth of someone, like you're sitting with them, where, you know, you can see their hand gestures, you can talk to them, you can, well, you can't really talk to the screen. You could talk to me, I can hear you. You're connecting with somebody on a level where they can say, yes, I like this woman. No, I don't like this woman, whatever. But it's a lot more multidimensional than, say, if you're listening to a podcast, which is still a great mode. I think listening to people is another way to connect. It's a little bit more dimensional than reading, reading a post or something. I think that is really it. Anytime that you put in to creating on this platform or creating any sort of content anywhere, I just want you to remember that this is a long-term investment, right? Like, this is something that I just also realized being off for 9 months. It's a long-term investment. So each video then becomes something that it means a little bit more. It hits a little different when you're thinking about it like, hey, you know, I'm making this video today because it's going to be a long-term investment for years to come. And when I stepped away, I was able to see that. And I just want you to think about that now, so you don't have to take a break and you don't have to step away to figure out some of these answers. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you decide to get out there and unleash your something amazing. And make sure you go sign up for my newsletter, because that was the deplatforming. Did you guys see that? Anyway, you can sign up for the social life on my website at ashleetate.com, or you can go into the description box down below and I will have it down there for you as well. And I also did include the TubeBuddy affiliate links that I have in there if you want to use that for finding searchable titles for your YouTube videos. Check it out down below in the description box. I'll have all of that stuff down there. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.